Not going to do it. Have you seen the figure? Nope. Not doing it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait. Just wait a minute. All right, just wait a minute. That's fine. That's totally your prerogative. But just fine. You win. But you're not going to be happy about it. So if you haven't already guessed, today we are taking a look at the Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Jolt. And, well, man, alright, you know what? I'll get to my final thoughts in a little bit, but now, first thing I need to admit is I really can't get him transformed back into car mode very well. Just, I don't know why, it's just not working for me. But he is a Chevy Volt. Unfortunately, I have never seen a Chevy Volt look like this. I understand where they're going with the weird light powder blue. I understand where they're trying, but I don't get why the carbon fiber hood and the carbon fiber top, and then these gray push buttons that hold his weapon, or any other Deluxe Mech Tech weapon. This is not a Chevy Volt. This is a Chevy Volt. So, the weapon, you push this slides back, and it accordions out. Though it doesn't always work, it doesn't always line up. I've not been able to figure out the way to lock this, even though some other reviewers, I think, have gotten it to lock, but I can't seem to get it to lock. This is okay, I guess. It's just making the barrel longer, nothing special, nothing great. Even the Mech Tech gimmick is stupid. Alright, so the car mode is lackluster. I mean, the car mode's very lackluster, especially when you compare it to the really good Deluxe class figure we got in Revenge of the Fallen. I liked that figure a lot. It had a good vehicle mode. This doesn't quite look like a Chevy Volt. So, transformation is pretty involved. Not going to lie about that. First thing we got to do is come under here and pull out the arms. And then unpeg these panels here from the sides and swing the entire assembly around, covering the rear wheels. This doesn't always work all that well. First issue I have with the figure is the rubber and plastic on these bits are very, very flimsy. I'm sure in the future this is going to break. The other issue is that these don't peg in anywhere. They just sit like that. That'll become a relatively not so minor issue a little bit later down the line. Once we do that, we reach into the back and unpeg the sides of the vehicle. When we do that, we can then reach up into the vehicle and push the roof of the car out on this little hinge here, this little sliding hinge. And we could do the same thing for over here. And I found this is the best way to do it, is to reach under the car and pull it out. We'll fold this up. We'll fold the windshield and the roof up, or rotate it up, and then fold the roof into the windshield. That will allow us to pull the front of the hood straight out, thus forming the bottom of the legs. Then we can then rotate this forward and up like that. So it goes like this. Then we come back here to the rear of the vehicle. The first thing we're going to do is take the top of the bumper and pull it out away from the vehicle and rotate it up, or angle it down like that. Then we'll come back here in this piece. I like to pull this out a little bit. That will allow us to rotate this piece and then push in the rear bumper while at the same time collapsing the edges of the rear bumper in, so then we kind of flail out the back of the vehicle, or the top of the vehicle. So the vehicle was originally like this. Now we're just rotating it around. Take this middle section, and there's a peg hole, and there's a peg there, and slide them in to each other, and rotate the head up, split the feet open, the front of the middle of the windshield, push that. This actually is not very well defined. You just kind of got to push everything down. The hood will collapse into the feet. And there we go. Okay, this is one of the chief problems I have with this figure. I don't know if you've noticed, but I had to turn off all of my lights in order to film this guy properly to get the right coloring. He, especially my figure, has very light gray plastic that as soon as you put light on it, it starts turning a weird whitish color that doesn't work at all. And that was one of my cats. The face is there. It's molded okay. I'm sure I could take a 0.05 millimeter pen to the face to do some of the panel lines, but he's ugly. Alright, he is just freaking ugly. He doesn't have the telltale or the character-specific whips that he did in the Revenge of the Fallen line, which is a shame because that made him pretty cool. I'm waiting for Mr. Jin Satome to go ahead and make this figure awesome. I do not like the look of this figure whatsoever. Poseability-wise, head is on a ball joint that is rather limited, but as soon as you bend the head back, it just collapses back into the body. That doesn't lock into place. Arms, there's a ball joint up here on the shoulder. There's a 90-degree hinge joint at the mid-upper arm. There is a swivel joint at the elbow. There is a sub-swivel joint underneath the elbow. And then the hands themselves, they don't move. The legs have a ball joint in the hip, a swivel joint at the top of the knee, a double hinge knee joint, this weird shin joint that is necessary for the transformation, and then a hinge joint here on the foot, and then you could kind of futz around with some of the stuff here. So you could get him into some rather interesting poses. But his gun, you can't have him hold. It's got to be plugged in to his wrist or forearm. And screw it. So the transformation for this guy is okay, but these flappy arms, just the aesthetics are terrible. I mean, this is a honest to God ugly figure. I mean, it's hideous. This is a terrible looking figure. And his vehicle mode is awful. His robot mode looks awful. The only positive point that I can come up with is, well, two positive points. One, He's got okay posability. 2, I actually like the transformation. I think it's interesting. It's unique. But other than that, this figure just doesn't work for me. So, long story short, this is not a fun figure. This is not worth your money at all. It's not worth the $12 that you're going to have to pay for it at retail. Just get something better. Just don't get this.